Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review from Married at First Sight. Child, let me tell y'all something. This episode, like that's all I got. That's it. That's the review. This episode. No, I'm just playing. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. And y'all hit the notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, day 16 of marriage, Katina is at the market, about to get another loaf of bread and some water. Katina, she's like, I'm just used to shopping for myself. Like, I like to go out to eat. So I'm hoping that I can get enough food for Olajuwon. Girl, I don't care if he ever eats, okay? This time, don't bring home a loaf of bread. Bring home one bagel, and that's that on that. Noy's cooking breakfast. She's like, I really like my bacon extra crispy. Well, child, please don't overcook Steve's, okay? Because we do not need another noodle gate. Then we see Michael creating a headband for Mr. Feeney, a.k.a. Jasmina's dog. Okay, he trying, child, so we're going to leave him alone. Dr. Pepper said they wanted each of the couples to plan a special date that will help keep the spark. These couples are pretty explosive, honey. It's sparks flying all up and through. They don't need no help. Steve and Noy. He said he woke up today just to sushi and not the food, okay? Because last time I thought he was talking about sushi the food, honey, but he was talking about sushi the dog. So he woke up to sushi, not to be confused with the food and whatnot, and a note that said, meet me at the park. She set up a treasure hunt. I think romantic scavenger hunts are so special. I love those because, like, it takes a lot of thought. Because you have to have one thing that leads to the next thing, and then you have to have another thing that leads to the conclusion, and then X marks the spot, and then hopefully you find the spot. Child, I love it. I love everything about it. So he's participating with each clue, and Steve love a good adventure, child, so this was right up his alley. And then he finally found Noy on the swing, and he really appreciated it. They look so cute together. I hope they get it together and keep it together, honey, because we already got enough problems. So y'all just stay over here and be less trouble than everybody else. Moving forward, Lindsey and Mark. Child, the unmitigated gall of this scene. Do y'all hear me? The gumption, the audacity of this scene. Let's get into it. So Mark is trying to make small talk with Lindsey. He's like, how are you? Fine. Where have you been? Nowhere. Like, she's really being passive aggressive, okay? He's trying to make small talk with Lindsey in that mouth of hers. And she's like, I'm just irritated with Mark because he hasn't apologized. Ma'am, you owe him an apology. Especially after all that foul crap that you said about him. And don't think we forgot. So they sit down to this awkward dinner. Nobody's talking. The forks are clinking up against the plate. Mark is dumping a gallon of salt on his food and playing Jimmy Crack Corn with this black pepper. He was cracking that pepper for 45 minutes. I said, these two, baby, these two are nuts. Lindsey is being passive aggressive, not wanting to speak. They're clanking these forks, honey. The plate is about to break. And finally, they speak their speech. So he asked her if she feels like she did anything wrong. She's like, no. I haven't said anything that I shouldn't have said. I thought that we were having a good time and you're just always a Debbie Downer. And I just feel like you're always picking at me and I just can't trust you. Well, Lindsey, trust is a two-way street. It's the delusions for me. So she's like, I've turned the switch off on you. He said, oh, okay, because you're so positive. She's like, no, I've been taking on your negativity for weeks. You're so negative. He said, me? She said, yeah, your life is in chaos and you're always complaining. See, there you go again. There you go again. Throwing up something that he shared with you. This is the issue. This is your problem. So he said, no, my life is really not. She said, you really need to come to terms with that. You want him to be broken down and dependent on you so bad it's almost pathetic. He's saying that his life isn't in chaos, okay, and that he's fine. But if his life were in chaos, okay, he was kicked out of his apartment after being on a honeymoon with a woman that he doesn't even know if he's going to be with after the shared apartment. You are a loose cannon and so unpredictable. That mouth of yours is like in Uzi. We don't know what's going to come out of it. So, of course, if his life is in a little bit of chaos, I don't exactly think that you're the calming spirit that he needs. Girl, if you don't shut up. So she doing all this talking. I'm trying to figure out, why are you still talking about a problem that's been solved? Like, she wanted him out and he's out. So what else is going on? She was like, I just need Mark to see how things are affecting me. You know, at first I was all in, but now he's got to earn me. Okay. And I don't even think he's on my level. Lindsey, listen, you and your grandma dresses and your kitten heels and your baby wedges, please stop. You and Mark are on the exact same level. Actually, he looks like someone you would talk to, and you look like someone he would talk to. But your mouth talks too damn much. And that's that on that. Moving forward. She's like, I'm just not satisfied. I'm unhappy. He's like, same. So she's like, I thought we were having fun, but I was wondering like who this person is. And all of a sudden I realized, oh, okay, it's Mark on camera. He's like, please stop with the Mark on camera. We both say things that we are not aware of. And she's like, and he said, you say things that annoy me. So they're going back and forth and back. So then she tells him that she's done everything to be gracious and empathetic to him because he seems like a kind man. But she has no idea why she's there. She said, what do you like about me? It seems like there's nothing. I would have said nothing, absolutely nothing, especially after how you acted last week. Lindsey and Mark need to end things now, okay, because I do not foresee this going forward. Lindsey is truly delusional, and I really hate to see that. He needs to apologize, and he has to earn a person that treats him like crap and told the world all his personal business. He needs to earn you back. Oh, okay. Moving forward. So he said, you want to know what I like about you? She's like, yeah, please tell me something. I'm like, yeah, please tell me something, honey, because I don't know what it is. So Mark gonna say, I think that you're a loving person buried deep inside. Yeah, deep inside. Deep inside. Okay, sure. He's like, I never said that I don't like you. It's just our personalities. Yeah, they don't mesh well at all. Mark is talking to her, but I can tell he's afraid to tell her the real. And it goes back to exactly what Pastor Cal said. Mark is afraid to voice his concerns because Lindsey is very overwhelming, very assertive in her speak. And then she gets dirty with it and hits below the belt. So it's kind of hard to tell her how you feel because you don't want to get your head chopped off. Mock the shock. Moving forward. These two are definitely giving Sharknado. Okay. Jasmina and Michael. Michael set up a picnic. Michael, you have this little short set. Okay. Baby, when I seen Michael walking through, I said, look at Michael in his little short set. So Michael got on his short set and whatnot, and he set up a picnic for her and Mr. Feeney because he wants her to know that he feels like Feeney is just as important to him as he is to Jasmina. So he gave her some gifts and she was like, oh, I thought the gifts were for me, but they were for Mr. Feeney, which makes it even better. So he gave her one that said Dog Meets World. And I thought that was so sweet because let me tell y'all something. Every Friday night, TGIF was the place to be. And I loved me some Boy Meets World. Shout out to Topanga. So Michael starts talking to Jasmina. And so he asked her in the moments where they aren't communicating properly, what can he do better? She's like, just talk to me. Like, don't use a tone or, talk at me. Just talk to me. She's like, you just need to talk. He said, okay, so I feel like we were both speaking at a tone that was elevated. Can you agree to that? She's like, yes, I do agree to that. But you would have never gotten that tone out of me when I asked you not to speak that way. Does she realize that she's using a tone right now? I don't think she's aware of that. She's like, you should have read the room. It's basic knowledge. Okay, these two getting on my nerves. They are really getting on my nerves. He's like, I'm asking you, how do I communicate better? And you keep saying, I don't know. And what you're saying to me is not helping. She can't tell you how to communicate because she doesn't know how to communicate herself. Honey, that would be like the blind leading the blind. Jasmina has absolutely no idea. That's why she keeps, just speak, just talk. Girl, that is so childish. Do you understand how many women would like to have a man sit down and say to them, how can I communicate better with you? What way can I speak to you for you to receive it? Well, you should know that. I mean, it's just basic knowledge. That little defensive tone and being real short, that does not help anything. So he's trying to explain his side, right? And he's like, if I'm with you, I may not be communicating like you like. So I need to know what you're saying and how I can do better. But you just saying that I should know, then that keeps us in the same spot. I'm telling you to help me. She's like, calm down. Jasmina, he's not hype at all. Honey, I done dealt with some nuts. So if you think this is hype, honey, I would hate for you to have been in my shoes from my 20s all the way to 31. Baby, this is a whole fool. He's like, I'm not upset. Y'all know what? The quickest way to piss me off is by telling me to calm down when I'm already calm. Oh, I cannot stand that. When somebody's like, calm down, I'm like, I am calm. No, you're calm down. I'm calm. But in a few minutes, I ain't going to be calm. So her telling him to calm down, I could tell it was kind of frustrating him. She's like, yeah, but you're annoyed. Well, hell, so am I. He's like, I'm a human. It's emotions. That's what happens. Y'all know what? My mouth is wide open. Jasmina just proved without a shadow of a doubt that he did not go in like she said he did, because if she thought that was a tone, that means the time that they had that conversation and we saw her doing her little confessional, it must have not really been given what she said it gave. And I'm trying to figure out how we got a behind the scenes last season of Hosean. We got Olajuwon being an okay. We have Steve and Noy fighting over the noodles, but nobody can find this footage of Michael and Jasmina fussing and fighting. I need to see this footage, honey, because for me, I just feel like he was trying to understand, and she was like, just calm down. If he were any calmer, we would have to check his pulse, honey. He was calm. She just doesn't like to be challenged. That's what that is. Jasmina does not like for anybody to tell her anything about anything at all. She doesn't like to be challenged in any way. She doesn't like him, okay, as a potential mate. She might like him as a friend. Oh, he cool. That's Michael. I used to be married to him for 5 minutes. What's up, Michael? It's going to be one of those, but I do not foresee them staying married and being that couple. Child, he might as well give up. Moving forward. Katina and Olajuwon. So Katina is thanking him for helping her out, like cut up some plantains right after they got into it last night. So they show us a clip of him yelling at her, saying she's worried about the wrong and that don't matter, and she's troubling him. Jasmina, this is a tone. Sir, who the hell are you yelling at? Who are you talking to like that? What is wrong with you? So he asked her, he said, what's your definition of a wife? Because, you know, we might have 2 different definitions. I think the whole world has a definition, and then there's the Olajuwon dictionary. So yes, Katina, let's hear this. She's trying to explain, but she said that she didn't like the question because she was like, you said I needed to cook more and step up my wifely duties. He said, no, it's more than that. After the party, she didn't want to clean, and he was cleaning up, and she only wanted to clean half the floor. So he saw that she was acting some kind of way, and he was like, you can just go to bed. So they show him cleaning up the floor. Okay, it's your floor too. What's wrong with you cleaning up? Olajuwon thinks he's her husband/father. He's her father. He's her husband. Because I'm not understanding how you think it's offensive or she's not being a wife because she wanted to go lay her wig down. She probably wanted to take that wig off for a moment, honey, because the wig been on for how many weeks we've been in this? 9 or 10? Boy, what is wrong with you? So he said, you know, when I say I want a wife, I want someone to help me. He's like, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm your husband. Well, child, don't remind us. He's like, you need to understand what that means. Do you know what it means? You are talking at her right now. Do you realize that? He is an emotionally abusive man. He really is. Katina is going to snap real soon, y'all. I can see it. She is going to snap real soon. I can feel it. He is holding her to a very unrealistic standard. And pretty soon, she's going to get tired of tiptoeing and walking on eggshells and trying to figure out stuff to cook. And she's going to lose her mind. Steve and Noy. They're asking each other questions because it's time for the questions of it all. You know how they like to do each and every time that the couples get to the shared apartment. And she asked Steve, had he been in love before? And he asked her. She said, yeah, I think I've been in love once. You know, or you think you've been in love? Like, girl. So Steve said, yeah, I've been in love several times. And I just feel like I've loved all 5 of the women that I've been in a relationship with. So in her confessional, she's like, oh, well, that's interesting. Because he's been hesitant to talk to me about that. But I've been saying it to him. Noy. He doesn't know you. And the part he got to know ghosted him over some cooked noodles. Post a poll on your Instagram and ask him, do you love me? Check yes or no. Because, honey, we know you love a good subliminal post. How about that? Maybe that'll get his attention. Girl, right now he should not be talking to you about love. You don't know the time frame in which the past relationships were and when he said I love you and how long that took. So why are you saying this? So they talk about how they know they love a person. Then she's like, well, do you feel like, you're getting close to talking about those things? He's like, we're almost there. And she's like, no, not me, you. He said, okay, I'm included in we. Because, child, she's so confused. She's like, I'm just at a point where I feel like I'm not, going to wait around to say it. If I want to say it, I'm going to say what I'm feeling, and if I'm falling in love, I'm going to say that. Like, I don't want to wait. We don't have the time to wait, especially now. Girl, stop trying to force this man to say, I love you. He's not there yet. That is okay. That is so childish, because let me tell you something. When you coerce him into saying I love you or force him, that's like forcing a man to propose. Once you do that, honey, it's all downhill from there. Let it come naturally. It's okay. Enjoy. Be in the moment. Girl, don't be so quick to say I love you. That if it doesn't mean anything, then you're not going to feel it anyway. Moving forward. So in her confessional, she's like, I don't know why he's so apprehensive about saying it. He said it to like other people, so why not me? Like, I'm hoping he's going to say it sooner rather than later. Oh, okay. Did the other people leave him for 24 hours then post how their relationship sucked in their IG stories? Did the other people do that? Oh, okay, that you don't know? Oh, okay. Noi, did you forget that? If he says I love you, then what? Is that going to make you behave more maturely? I think so. Moving forward. So she's steady trying to pull it out of him, honey, and he ain't budging. He's like, just because we're married doesn't mean we're going to be together. Like, we have to work at it. Like, marriage is work. Steve is always so level-headed. And you know what I've noticed? In a few of these relationships, it's like one partner has to babysit the other. That's what I'm noticing. Katina and Olajuwon. So she asked what it takes to fall in love, and he said devotion. Shut up, Olajuwon. She said, well, yeah, I need you to be loyal. I need someone that I can call for anything. Like, he's the first person that I call. Like, we're best friends. She's like, I'm very guarded. He was like, oh, yeah, I know, because you don't even cry. She said, I do cry. Girl, you don't have to prove to him that your tear ducts are operating at full capacity. Who cares if he's never seen you cry? What do you need to see you cry for? What kind of crazy request is that? I want to see if you can cry. So is that why you were treating her the way you were on that honeymoon? Because she didn't cry for you, Argentina, when y'all were standing there on the aisle? Is that why? Oh, okay. It's all starting to make sense, child. So he's like, well, when did you cry? You didn't cry at the wedding? You didn't cry at the honeymoon? Now, why would she be crying on her honeymoon? She probably would have cried the night that y'all spent together, the very first night that you were married after seeing those dirty drawers. She might have cried then. Maybe you shouldn't have put those basketball shorts on, and then we'd see if those tear ducts are operating. She said, I do cry, but I just cry in private. So then she tells him that her ex made her feel weak for crying and he would be verbally abusive. And she said, after that, I just promised myself not to cry like that again. He's like, you're human. It's emotion. Like, if you don't cry, why are you always speaking to her like you're Coach Carter? Why are you always talking to her like she's on a football field or something? Like, it's always like he's speaking to her as if she's a part of an organized sport. Is it just me? Like, I don't see the empathy and the passion behind it. It's very like, you can do this. It's okay. Suck up the tears. Like, it's a child, honey. The mohawk is gone, but it's still giving Mr. T. Honey, I pity the fool. So he's like, hearing my wife say that she trained herself to not cry. It says that she's strong and an independent person and that she's sheltered. Hey, y'all comment down below and tell me what sheltered means. Sir, what? How does that mean she's sheltered? Child, he just say any old thing, and I do mean any old thing. So she asked if he thought that he was falling in love. He gonna say, nah, you go first. No, you go first. Because you just trying to see if she gonna say she's falling in love with you, and then that will formulate your answer. Love is blind. Boy. So then she said, well, I see the potential, but you didn't say anything. What about you? So he gonna say, I like you, but love is not on the table. Honey, love is not on the table for any of us. Okay, we don't even like you. How about we go there? He said, we have to grow and, standards have to be met. Who does this dude think he is? Just who? Standards have to be met? What standards are you setting for yourself? He's like, that has to be done for our love to grow. He thinks he's perfect. Baby, you should have gotten a mail order bride. Because I don't know exactly what you expect, but what you're expecting from her is overwhelming her. It's too much. It is too much. She's like, well, I just have to show you by bringing you meals and things. He's like, okay, I got to see it to believe it because too many people have told me things and they didn't come through with it. She's like, okay. Katina, I'm speaking directly to you, honey, because this right here is starting to piss me off. Please listen. A wife is not only cooking and cleaning, sweetheart. And love should never be dependent on you cleaning the floor or cooking 7 days a week, 3-course meals. If it is, honey, I don't want it. You are losing yourself. He don't even clean his underwear. So he expect you to clean the floor and stay up all night? Baby, he would never be able to tell me anything. You should not have to prove yourself to him to be loved. And y'all, is it just me? Because he's acting like he cannot stand her this episode. Like his facial expressions, all of this because she didn't want to sweep after the housewarming? Child, this is a mess. Day 18 of marriage, Michael and Jasmina. So they're having dinner. Awkward. And she's like, how's your day? He's like, it was fine. So he tells her that today was the anniversary of his brother's passing and he went to the cemetery. So she's like, oh, I wish I would have known. He was like, well, you were at work and it's cool. So they start to play the question game. Have you ever been in love? She said, yeah, 3 times and a possible. And she knew because she always felt so giddy with them. Well, honey, we can X Michael out of that because, honey, we have not seen her smile since I don't know when. He said, okay, so for me, it was 1 and a possible. Like, I was able to be vulnerable with them, let my guard down. So then they started talking about what it takes to fall in love. He said, I need to feel comfortable enough to open up. So Jasmina said, well, would you say you're vulnerable now? Girl, no. You chop his head off every time he speaks. You just sat here and told us that you two have not spoken really since the picnic in the park. And that wasn't even an argument. He was just trying to understand you better. And you got mad at him trying to understand you better. And you're trying to ask this man if he feels like he's being vulnerable with you now. He said, no, we haven't talked enough to say that. She said, so what's stopping you from that? You. And let me just say this. He is just as scared of Jasmina as Mark is of Lindsey. And y'all can't fool me and try to trick me into anything otherwise, honey. I said what I said and I ain't changing it. He is just as frightened to say the wrong thing to Jasmina as Mark is to say the wrong thing to Lindsey. She said, so what's stopping you? He said, I made a promise to myself to come in vulnerable and really let my guard down. So then she's like, I hear him. This is what she's saying in her confessional. But if he made a promise, why hasn't he done it? Oh, her attitude is so stank. Okay, child, let me just continue. Mark and Lindsey. Same questions, different answers. She says she's been in love before. Mark said that he has as well. He basically said that if he was in love with somebody and they broke up and he started dating someone else, then he would go back to that ex because he felt like the ex actually loved him. And she was like, oh, I don't like the fact that you would go back to an ex. Like, I've never recycled a man. Okay. As he was telling her that, I was thinking to myself, Mark, don't say that to her. Okay, because all she's going to do is say that it makes her feel like you're going to want to go back to that ex and you're not there for her. That should not have been said. So Lindsey is like, I would never recycle men or go back. Well, child, you probably couldn't with that attitude. So she asked him, well, do you think you're falling in love with me? He said, I see the potential and the possibility. Well, honey, you won't after you see that hot mic footage. So she said, if you asked 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said yes. But the last 11 days is definitely a no. She's like, I think I just need to see you choose me and make me a priority. I said in my vows that I have respect for you, and I just haven't gotten that from you. In the words of Aretha Franklin, Lindsey, RESPECT, find out what it means to me. And it's not your strong suit, okay? Respect, just a little bit, is definitely not what you give, and it's surely what you gave when you were yelling all up and through that restroom. Girl, what are you talking about? Child, this is a mess. So then production got shady, honey, and started playing this song with a little subliminal message. And went something like, who do you think you are? You're not the only one. Or something like that, child. And I was like, child, you better tell Lindsey, honey, you are not the only one that doesn't feel respected. Moving forward. In the next scene, all the guys go and hang out. They're playing archery, and they sit down to have lunch, and Steve asks how things are going with the guys. And Mark was like, it's more work than I thought it was going to be. Well, you got Lindsey, so there's that. Lindsey is over with the girls, and she's telling them that it's been hard since week 3. And she asked them if they're growing into intimacy. And Katina, baby, she was ready to unload all of that she's been carrying around. Do y'all hear me, honey? Even talking to Lindsey, I was like, oh, Katina going through something, honey. She was like, Olajuwon has been telling me what he expects. Over with Olajuwon, he over there saying, I just feel like I'm babysitting. Like, we're not on the same page. We're not putting in the same effort. I am going to send Olajuwon an invoice for this episode because I'm going to need Botox after frowning up at what he is saying. I stayed frowned up for 94% of this episode. The only time I unfurled my eyebrows was during commercial break. This is a whole fool. So he's like, it's life skills. Like, I can't be there to help you all the time. He said, my feelings are high for her, but If we weren't married, like I would have been walked away. He wants her to be perfect. Y'all are both learning and growing in marriage together. It's not all on her. That's what marriage is. You learn and grow together. It's new. It's not like you've ever been married before or she's ever been married before. So what are you going to do when it's time to have babies? I can just hear him now. You're not a mom. Like, I feel like a mom should be up every hour, even before the baby gets up. You should anticipate the baby's poop. You should anticipate my needs, the baby's needs. I wouldn't have anything to do with Olajuwon. Absolutely. Now, you know what? Isaac, okay? You're no longer Olajuwon for the rest of this review. You shall be Isaac. Your mama named you Isaac. I'm going to call you Isaac. Moving forward. So Mark asked if they could move past it, and he was like, it's just tough. So then Michael chimes in and says that their communication needs some work. Jasmina is over on the other side, and she's saying she can't build with someone she doesn't talk to. Well, open up your mouth and speak. So then she has a confessional, and she's like, I'm just really a hopeful person, and if I wasn't, then I would be in my head and nothing would get accomplished. Like, if I have in my mind, like, things like that, then he won't change. And if he sees that I'm hopeful, then he'll want to try more. But if he feels that I'm not, then he's not going to want to try. Girl, what are you talking about? She is so not self-aware. The man has tried. It is both of you. Okay, both of you. He tried to make you coffee. You got picky about that. You didn't like it. Tried to ask you how to communicate better. He should just know. I keep thinking about what your sister say. Jasmina, your friend was right about you. You do not like to be wrong, honey. You don't like it. Back over with the men, Steve is telling them about Noodlegate, and he said after he showed her his pain. And that's when she really got it, and that's what it takes to be vulnerable. Back over with Noy, she's telling the girls that Steve's voice was cracking, and that's when she realized that he loved her. He was like, even though he hasn't said it yet because he doesn't trust you. Okay, that's why. Here go Lindsey. No, they never will. Lindsey, hush. Just hush, girl. They definitely will if they feel it, child. She's like, I told him that I never wanted to be the cause of his pain. So Lindsey tells them that she's learning from them just by hearing their stories. And Katina was like, oh, okay, so we can all agree that we all going through the same thing at the same damn time. Got it. Lindsey and Mark. So they're eating again. Mark gonna get his meal. Do y'all hear me? Every scene they are eating. These two will sit down and have a meal if they don't do nothing else. So they bring out this sushi, and baby Mark is me. Now, ma'am, honey, I need everything cooked. My palate is immature, okay? I love to try new things, but I don't want raw fish. I don't want it. I'm sorry, honey. I don't want it. I'm not gonna eat no chicken nuggets or nothing like that. But I'm just not a sushi girl, and that is okay. Moving forward. Child, Mark is full, so now he's complimenting Lindsey on being there for him and how she went into the marriage and blah, blah, blah. And he apologized and told her that he promises not to cause her pain. Who knew all Mark needed was a few hours away from Lindsey to like her again? Who knew? He said, I promise not to cause you pain. You shouldn't promise not to cause her pain because you know what? She gonna hold you to that, and you cannot guarantee that you will never cause her pain again. You don't know what's going to upset her, and you don't know what's going to set her off. And the first thing she's going to say is that on December 1st, 2021, you said you were never going to cause her pain. After Lindsey did that in that restroom, I don't trust her with nothing, and that's that on that. She said, well, I feel the same. I feel the same way, and I feel like you're worth it. Okay, these two, I'm just stumped, child. Let's move forward. Jasmina and Michael. So she set up a mock gym based on the issues in their relationship. And I thought that was a super cute idea. I was like, okay, Jasmina, this is cute. But listen, I do not get my hopes up for Jasmina and Michael because they take like a half a step forward and then 50 steps back. But let's continue. So she starts getting her personal trainer on, and they do a few things, and then they get down on the floor, and she asks him to open up and talk about his past. Now, it was a nice gesture, but I just feel like the two of them have been at such odds. I feel like maybe that's a conversation that they should have just had between the two of them so that, it could be a genuine one and they could really get into it. But Michael starts to tell the story about his brother being shot after coming home late from work, and he started getting really emotional. He started crying, and that had me choked up because I know that has got to hurt. And he was only like 6 or 7 years old. He said after that, it was every 3 to 4 years somebody in his life was passing away. And she was actually there to comfort him. She was very, empathetic. She was there with him. And it made her also break down her walls a little bit. So I really did like to see the two of them being vulnerable with each other. But it is a two-way street. So Jasmina, I'm going to need you to break down your walls too. And tell him some things that's going to make him feel comfortable and like you're being vulnerable with him. So he was looking off and she said, "What are you thinking?" He said, "That cry felt good." Oh, I'm so happy he was able to release. Jasmina, I am proud of you for letting your hair down and allowing him to feel comfortable enough to share. Lindsey and Mark. They're going to have a date at a fun park with batting cages and go-karts. And Mark tells us that he played baseball from a young age. And baby, they showed a picture of Mark and I was like, look at MTS. Looking handsome. Let me tell y'all something about me. This is just a side note. I love a baseball player. When I tell you I love a baseball player, it's something about their stature, the way they walk, the way they move. Everything about a baseball player, I love it. I just love it. I don't know what it is, child. But that's just a side note. So they're playing and Lindsey goes first. And I was thinking, well, child, don't make her mad while she got that bat in her hand, Mark. We don't need no problems. Mark has a nice swing. He's swinging the ball, they're hitting a couple balls, having a good time, enjoying themselves. Steve and Noy. He's setting up a picnic for them. And he's like, it's officially 3 weeks. She said, so it's our 1 month. He said, no. Typically there's 4 weeks in a month. Oh, that was funny to me. I said, this is a mess. So they started talking. And he asked what's her fondest memory of them being married. She said the honeymoon when they were at the waterfall and actually the wedding. And she said her favorite thing about marriage is seeing him every day because in the past, she needed an entire day to herself. Same, Noy. Same, okay? I need some time to recharge. I can't be with nobody all day, every day. I'm going to need a break. So then Steve tells her that his favorite part was them dancing at the wedding. So then he goes, 3 days I wasn't really ready. But at 3 weeks, I'm ready to say I love you. She's like, really? Child, I was like, really? Child, not after 3 weeks. Honey, she got mad at him and now he love her. I don't know if it was real or what, but he said it. She's like, it's just such a relief. He finally said it and it means so much to me that he recreated the 3-week picnic. It was a very well thought out date. Okay, Steve, I'm happy Noy finally knows how he feels, child, so she can get off of this. Moving forward, Olajuwon and Katina. Child, now he gonna take her on a date where the chef is teaching her how to cook. This clown. And he ain't fooling me, okay? Trying to give her lessons on the slick. So he's like, she keeps saying she wants to cook salmon, so here we are. It's not hard to cook salmon, you nincompoop. You put it in a pot with some olive oil in it. Put a little seasoning on top. Flip that thing over. Rub it down on the other side. Put a little seasoning on it. Put whatever sauce you want or don't sauce it at all. Blacken it or don't blacken it. It's not that hard, okay? He's like, I want my wife to be on the same page as me and stop waiting for me to tell you what to do. Just do it. And who the hell are you, Nike? Child, he got some dang on nerve, child. He got some nerve. So they're cooking, and he's over her shoulder looking like, yeah, let me see if you're doing it right. Let me see if it's up to my standards. Really, dude? Really? So she's like, I know cooking is the way to his heart. So, I'm going to make sure that I do that for him so that we can both say yes on decision day. Oh, my God. Oh, child. Katina, what happens when you can't keep that up, huh? What happens when you can't cook? He is not the guy for you if you have to live up to his expectations. So they sit down to eat. And baby, this is where it gets foolish. So she's like, well, you acting like I haven't fed you in a week. So he gonna say, well, you haven't been putting it down like this. Red flag. Okay? Red flag. Constantly putting down her efforts. Constantly. So he's like, I know that Katina worked on herself, to stay out of the club, but is she enough woman for me as a wife? I got to take a page from Chris season 12's Married at First Sight book. Of all the kings in Boston, you give Katina this? So she's telling him that she's putting in effort, but she needs to know what area she needs to be putting in more. He said, well, I know you're still learning, I know. Say, what now? Baby, this has to be scripted, honey. Tyler Perry, come on out, child. Okay, I don't know. This is Why Did I Get Married 3. Because you cannot convince me that this man is really saying these things out of his mouth directly to this woman in her face. Child, let's continue. So he's like, yeah, I know you're still learning. I'm still learning. But when it comes to marriage, I'm trying to figure out if you have that base. He said, I've achieved things. I bought a house that looks like an old folks home. Okay, let's not forget that. He's like, I bought a house. I paid off student loans. You haven't done any of these things. You're still working on these things, but I'm trying to figure out what can my wife do independently that I can say on a wife level, I'm satisfied. Oh my gosh. She's like, okay, so what are you looking for on a wife level? He said you didn't apply enough at the housewarming. Your friends brought in the food. She's like, no, but I called for it and they just did it. He said, and I got the chicken. She's like, well, I told them to do all that. Like, I put that together. I just physically couldn't go. And so what? And so what if you didn't go pick it up physically? Did his one friend eat? Oh, he did? Okay, so what else is going on? And why are we explaining this to him? That's what the hell I want to know. Why are we explaining? So she's like, well, I went to get the decorations. He said she put in effort, but she didn't put in enough effort into the housewarming. But I feel like she could have done more. Then did y'all notice he said my housewarming? She didn't put in enough effort for my housewarming. Okay. He said you orchestrated it, but you didn't do anything on your own. So when we talk about wife level, this is what I look at. Like, I need to see where you are as a woman. Oh, child, I'm trying to contain it because, baby, I'm about to read him his rights. He's like, I can't settle on somebody if they don't have a base on just being an adult. Because, they don't have life experience. I need to know that you're a fast learner. I need to know who I'm married to. She said, okay, wait a minute. I need a break. So she just said I need a break, right? He proceeds to keep talking. He's like, I have to keep you grounded. If I say yes on decision day, I have to know that you can hold me down. She's like, well, only time will tell. So then she goes to her confessional, right? Child, she patting her wig down. She crying. He's stressing her wig out. Poor thing. So she was like, I just really wanted to be married, but this just really makes me feel bad. Okay. All right. It's time to get him together. Well, you disgusting jerk. You got the tears you wanted. Are you happy now? Isaac, you shell of a man. You said you didn't know who you were married to. Well, I know who she's married to, an ass clown. She just told you she was with someone that was verbally abusive, and you take the one opportunity to take her out on a nice date and berate her. You take her on a cooking class date because it wasn't a date. Okay, this was for her to learn something, and then you chastise her for the duration of the meal. Baby, she a better woman than me. I would have left your sweaty, smelly, stained drawers sitting right there. You are not her damn daddy. You are not. You are somebody nobody else wanted, so they paired you with Katina's sweet self. That's what you are. You said black women weren't attracted to you. Well, are any women attracted to you? Like, she's trying her hardest to do anything to please you. And all of this because she didn't want to sweep the floor? You and your hairline are pissing me off. And your hairline is as non-existent as her cooking skills. If we really want to be real, you are the worst kind of man. You're actually a boy. You're just tall. Okay? That's what that is. Katina, I'm speaking directly to you, honey. Wipe every single tear from your eye. You are a beautiful lady. There are men out there that will love you for you. You can take your wig off. You can show your straight backs. You can be yourself. If you want to bring home one egg, not a carton of eggs, but one egg, they will appreciate that. Don't let a man devalue you, especially the likes of Isaac. There's somebody that won't berate you every chance they get if you don't live up to their television standards of a wife. You signed up for this show to groom someone, Isaac, and that is sick. It really is sick. Katina, the way you feel right now is how you're going to always feel in this marriage. Olajuwon is a prime example of a cesspool type man. Experts, I'm speaking directly to y'all, honey. We need you to step in. We need you 911 because this type of an emotional, verbal type abuse, it isn't good for anyone, even the viewing public. Like, it's hard to get through these episodes. And how about what you need, Katina? Did he ask you that? You're trying to make sure that Isaac is fed. You're trying to make sure his ego is fed. His stomach is fed. Trying to make sure he's full. But what is he doing to fill you up? Not once has he asked anything about you. He doesn't even wear clean underwear, and I ain't gonna let that go, child. What level is he on as a husband? That you can't wash your own dang on drawers and you know you're gonna be on national TV. If you choose him, this behavior will not cease. I'm telling you right now, it's going to continue on. He is not worth the effort. He is not worth the time. You have your whole life ahead of you. Why not spend it with someone that loves you for you? I would leave him and his superiority complex and that salmon right at that table. And I would get up and I would walk away. Now, I know you really want this. And I feel like because you've been in verbally abusive relationships that they've broken you down. And although you think you've worked past it, you've really just suppressed it. And so now you're going to continue that same pattern with every man that you get until you realize your worth. And baby, you want to know how I know? Because I was you. Okay. I was like, you know what? Well, whatever you want, whatever you like. Absolutely not. Shout out to Eddie Murphy. Baby. And that was the end of the episode. Baby, this episode heated me hot, but the next episode gonna be something else, child. Jasmina talking about she dried all the way the hell up. She's saying that she feels like he belittles her and beats her up verbally. Oh my God. And then there's Lindsey. And you know Stephen Noy. They gonna be Stephen Noy. Child, this is just too much. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. I'm not sure when I'm going to do my live. Y'all know I just pop it up. Hopefully we can do it tomorrow because we really need to discuss this, honey. I don't think we need to sit on this one. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly how you feel about it. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.